Xbox is buying up the past where PlayStation is creating the future. Is Gears of War. They have butchered Gears of War. Then I will switch over. I will switch to the winning side. But as long as PlayStation keeps giving me their best and trying to innovate and inspire and keep pushing the boundaries, then, bro, you got a soldier. That's how it works. Because no one cares about PC. No one cares about the Switch. That's what it's mainly been about.
What's up, boys? Amazing Lucas recently made another video in which he has some of his wildest takes yet. As you could probably tell from the intro, I tried to show a couple of them to you, but he mainly talks in this video about how Xbox is not creative at all and how, you know, all their games basically suck and they don't have games, and that, you know, PlayStation games are so much more creative and are going to be so much better. He even admits in the video, like you saw in the beginning, that he is a soldier for PlayStation and that console wars are just the way it is and the way it should be, which is just incredibly cringe for like a 35-year-old man to say. Don't know if he's 35, he looks 35. But yeah, let's just get into it, because this video is insane. My guy even said that nobody cares about Nintendo or PC.
PlayStation dominates. Oh my goodness. So there has been a huge announcement that went on Twitter in regards to a statement by CEO Jim Ryan. And what he says is just, it's a chef's kiss, to be honest with you. It is music to my ears, because it's constantly stuff that I've talked about where it's like, yo, what's going on? We only have Spider-Man here. I'm glad for Spider-Man. I'm glad for Final Fantasy, but you know, where's Stellar Blade? Where are the rest of the titles? You gotta give us more, bruh. It's always more, always more. I'm greedy as a gamer, as a consumer.
Funny how, as a consumer that is just so hungry for new games, you're on a PlayStation. Right? The console that has really nothing going on at all. I mean, you even say it, they only got Spider-Man. But besides that, what does the console even really have now? Right? I mean, especially compared to platforms like PC and Switch, which you seem to hate, but which they have far more and far better games than PS5 has.
But these statements were apparently behind a paywall, and now they're not. And the statements are being released. And one of the statements, which was great, was Jim Ryan talking about how he wants to remove the dependence on third-party games. And by doing such, he's going to double the output of first-party games. Bruh, that is...
Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder how Jim Ryan is going to achieve that after he just quit his job. Yeah, that's right, Jim Ryan, if you, in case you didn't know, CEO of PlayStation, quit his job, he stepped down. He's not coming back. So I'm really curious how he's going to implement this plan of getting more exclusives on the PlayStation when he's not working for PlayStation.
Now, he also goes on to talk about how third-person, you know, the beautifully graphics and the rich narratives, that is the bedrock of PlayStation. And they're not going to forget, you know, their bedrock. They're going to continue pushing out these third-party games. And I'm like, this is good.
This is good, guys. We like the fact that PlayStation pushes out the same third-person action RPG with cinematic cutscenes every fucking year. Basically the same exact game. That's good. We love it. We don't want new, like, creative things. We want the same thing over and over again. That's amazing.
This is what we need. As long as they continue to innovate and inspire and push the envelope on these first-party and third-person games, bro, PlayStation is going to remain on top.
What? You want innovation and like inspiring new types of games, but I thought you just said you wanted the same shit over and over and over again, because that's essentially what it is, right? These games have not changed that much since Uncharted 1. They're all the same third-person action game. Like, what do you mean innovation? Like, it's been the same thing over and over and over again. And if you enjoy that, that's fine, but don't call it innovation or creativity. It's literally not.
He even talks about, as far as you know, the acquisition from Microsoft, where he's like, yo, every publisher he's talking about doesn't like Game Pass. And from what I've seen, you know, from articles and, you know, the sales of Game Pass is on the decline, where people are like, they don't want to do that. So even them buying this up, that up, it's not going to help them.
Well, obviously, you know, it will boost numbers of Game Pass. If All Bethesda games and all Obsidian games and all Activision Blizzard games are day one available on Game Pass, then why would someone who wants to play all those games buy them all separately when he can just subscribe to the subscription service? Especially with Activision Blizzard, who owns World of Warcraft. I know World of Warcraft isn't as popular as it used to be, but it's still very popular. If they manage to intertwine WoW with Game Pass and make it so that a subscription to Game Pass is also automatically a subscription to WoW, that's gonna boost the numbers of Game Pass massively, and that's something that they can do.
Where Sony is looking towards the future, and Xbox has all these developers, they have all these acquisitions, and they have nothing to show. They're buying up the past while Sony is creating the future.
Damn.
Woo, let me rewind that for you again. Okay, Xbox is buying up the past where PlayStation is creating the future.
But like, these developers aren't just gonna not make games. They're not buying up the past, they're buying up developers that have been proven in the past to be successful that now are going to make exclusives for Microsoft in the future. And I can tell you, all those games they're gonna be making aren't going to be the same exact game like Sony Studios do, where all of Sony Studios make the exact same third-person action game.
That is Xbox and PlayStation in a nutshell, bro. Xbox and PlayStation in a nutshell. The really only difference between Game Pass everyone talks about and creams their pants over is really PlayStation Now. Okay, that's where they got that from. The only difference is that they have first-party titles on it.
Yeah, guys, that's where they got the idea of a subscription model, you know, of a subscription service. They got that from PlayStation Now, not from the fact that, you know, EA already had one and Ubisoft already had one and like Netflix exists. No, they got it from PlayStation Now, which isn't even a similar subscription service. It's a streaming service. You stream games to your machine, which is stupid as fuck and doesn't work well, which is why nobody uses PlayStation Now. But hey, we gotta pretend that one of Xbox's greatest ideas in the past couple of years was straight up stolen from Sony. We've gotta pretend that's true, otherwise these PlayStation fanboys might, I don't know, cry themselves to sleep every night, which I'm pretty sure they already do. I mean, if you spend your time online mostly like console warring other grown men about like plastic boxes and video games, you really have nothing else going on in your life.
But the thing is, they don't really have any first-party titles that people want to play.
Okay, so that's definitely 100% not true. I'm not gonna go too in-depth on this because I feel like I have to do it every single time with an Amazing Lucas video, but like Starfield exists, Hi-Fi Rush exists, Forge Towers exists, other games exist. People definitely want to play them because they're being bought and played.
One of the series that I beloved series is Gears of War. They had butchered Gears of War, okay? Once Blazinski left, I don't know what happened, bro. I don't know what happened to the series. They went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I fear what would happen to Doom. Because it seems that everything that Xbox, you know, touches turns to poop. It turns to mediocrity. There is no innovation. There is nothing inspiring there.
Yes, Xbox doesn't innovate at all, says the guy who plays the same game over and over and over again from the company that only makes one game, apparently. One third-person action game with cinematic cutscenes. But, so, obviously Doom isn't going to be effective in the same way that Gears of War was. What happened with Gears of War and Halo as well is that the original developer studio who made those games stopped making them and then left the IP with Microsoft, and then Microsoft created new studios to make new games in those franchises. Now obviously the new studios had to get used to these franchises because it was their first time handling them. While Doom, the new Doom, will be made by the same team that made Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. AKA made by people who know what they are doing. Now there is a chance that the new Doom is not gonna be good. That chance always exists. But it's not Microsoft's fault because everything they touch is going to shit. You took an example where it's very clear why the new Gears of War games were different from the old ones and might not have been as good. In this case, the same people are still working on the franchise.
And, you know, God forbid that befalls PlayStation. Nevertheless, he talks about, you know, when it comes to Nintendo, right? The Xbox talking about what would be our greatest dreams to acquire Nintendo. Bro, stop trying to acquire and create. Do y'all ever think about that? Stop trying to acquire all this talent and create.
I mean, I do kind of agree that they gotta stop buying studios now for a little bit, because I feel like they bought like enough of them to, you know, get them back on track. And also the the idea of Microsoft buying Nintendo is dumb. It's weird and it's downright laughable. It's not gonna happen. I highly doubt Nintendo isn't gonna be sold because Nintendo doesn't want to be sold. That's the main reason. That's why Activision Blizzard was sold, because they wanted to be sold.
This is precisely what many gamers are hoping for. Precisely what Jim Ryan has said here is exactly what many of us are hoping for. Hey, we don't want just 2 titles, okay, first-party titles per year. We want 4 first-party titles per year. Hell, 5, 6, how many you can give us, okay? So double your efforts there. And he even says that you make more money on the first-party titles than the third-party. So I'm like, double your efforts there, and it will definitely pay off.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. The whole thing about them making more money on first-party titles. Jim Ryan is known for fucking lying. And the reason I think this is because, well, if they made most of their money from the first-party titles, then why was he so adamant about the fact that PlayStation couldn't, like, survive properly without Call of Duty? Why was he, even earlier in this video, in the article you saw that he said that he wanted to get rid of PlayStation's reliance on third party. Why would he say things like that if most of their money comes from first party? That makes no sense.
If the quality and the experience is there for these first party titles, it's definitely going to pay off. 100%. Because then it goes back to what it's always been. And that is the console wars. And I know this new generation of, they, them, kids talking about the console wars. Why do you guys care? That's what it's been. That's what it's always been. If you don't have a team, well, then you're pretty much a bystander. Get off the field.
That is the cringiest, most pathetic fucking thing I've ever heard this man-child say. First of all, he brings up they, them people for some reason. Like, am I supposed to think to myself now, oh, they, them kids think that console wars are cringe? That means that console wars must be cool. Like, is that what I'm supposed to think right now, Lucas? Console wars are fucking cringe, dude. Don't be like, oh, it's always been console wars, and this is just the way it is. This is fucking cringe. You're on the internet, you're a grown man, and you're on the internet, like, yelling at other grown men about, haha, you guys don't have God of War, haha, you can't play this game. What are you, fucking 12, my dude? Console wars are for children. Like, the last time I had the genuine fucking discussion with one of my classmates about Xbox or PlayStation, which one was better, was like when I was in fucking elementary school, my guy. I was like 11 years old.
Okay? Get off the field, because some of us are in this war. It is what it is. And I want PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation because I think PlayStation is going to win. That's why I bought one. The moment in time that that's not the case, the moment in time they give up, which is what, Spencer is doing, or what it sounds like, then I will switch over. I will switch to the winning side. But as long as PlayStation keeps giving me their best and trying to innovate and inspire and keep pushing the boundaries, then, bro, you got a soldier.
My guy calls himself a soldier. This is the cringiest shit I've ever seen. Okay? Like, as MBG would put it, you're a loser lowlife. And this thing about Phil Spencer, it seems like he's giving up. Yeah, it really seems like he's giving up when he's, expanding rapidly in the industry. That's what you do when you give up.
That's how it works, because no one cares about PC. No one cares about the Switch. That's what it's mainly been about. It's mainly about PlayStation versus Xbox.
Nobody cares about PC, guys. That's why both Xbox and PlayStation have been investing in PC and putting more and more of their games on PC. They definitely have not been doing that because PC has the most players on it and has enormous potential for monetary gain. That's not at all why they're doing it. PC's relevant, and Switch, it's definitely not like there have been more Switches sold than PlayStation and Xboxes combined, and that Nintendo turns a bigger profit than Xbox or PlayStation right now. That's not true either. Switch is just simply irrelevant as well.
And if they keep on putting out first-party games that are great and awesome and are winning Game of the Year, bro, obviously, PlayStation's the choice. Obviously.
Okay, first of all, it doesn't surprise me that this guy actually cares about the Game of the Year awards and thinks it matters. And second of all, why is PlayStation obviously the choice? Tell me, why is it obviously the choice, besides the fact that they have good first-party exclusives, because Nintendo has good first-party exclusives, right? Microsoft has good first-party exclusives. Like, there's nothing really setting PlayStation apart, besides the fact they have good exclusives, which is subjective. I think their exclusives suck. I think Nintendo has the best exclusives at the moment, and Microsoft is a close second. Well, not with the games they have, but with the games Microsoft has coming out. They're far more creative and innovative to me than anything that Sony's putting out. But besides the games, what is it that makes Sony the obvious choice? There's nothing, right? Really nothing. If you want power, right, and you want like best visuals and shit like that, you go PC. If you want the most amount of exclusives even, or your most creative exclusives, you go Nintendo for like innovation and funny things like that. Like the Switch itself is more innovative than anything PlayStation has done. I really don't see why PlayStation is like the go-to choice, and you're not really making good argument for it here, besides the fact that, oh, they have what I consider to be the best games.
It's just a win-win. Everything that eventually we get on the PS5, some of them just goes to the PC. Now, they're double dipping. It's just genius what they're doing.
My guy, you just admit there's no reason to get a PS5. If all the games, all the PlayStation games are eventually going to come to PC, then why get a PS5? If the only reason to get a PS5 is the games, but you can play those games on PC where they'll look better and run better and just be better overall, why get a PS5?
I don't know what Xbox is going to do. They very well may shut down. They may shut down. What they should be doing is trying to see if they can poach some of the creative teams of these first-party developers. That's what they should be doing. They should be going to Naughty Dog, like, yo, do anybody y'all want to come work over here? Do any of the creative designers want to come work over here?
Okay, so let me get this straight. If Microsoft buys creative teams that are not Sony related, that's bad, right? Because that's not going to cause innovation. But if they were to poach Sony teams, basically do the exact same thing but by people who work for Sony, then they'll actually might have something there, because Sony teams are so fucking amazing. He even mentions Naughty Dog, you know, the people who have been making the same game ever since they made the first Uncharted. They've just been making the same thing over and over and over again, and people keep loving it. A very creative studio that has been making the same game for like the past 10 years.
Here, directors, come over here. That's what I think they should be doing, instead of taking these studios, these acquisitions. Bethesda, what? Activision, Blizzard, you know, what do you? I don't know what they're thinking.
Hey guys, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzards, they're only some of the biggest and most popular, you know, developers in the industry, with some of the greatest franchises ever, you know, that belong to them. That's all they are. Who are they compared to Naughty Dog, the people who make The Last of Us, and then Uncharted, and then Uncharted again, and then The Last of Us again, and then Uncharted? Wow, those guys are fucking crazy, dude. They might make another Uncharted game next, you never know. Anyway, boys, his video isn't quite done, but I honestly can't be fucking bothered to reply to the rest, because he doesn't really say anything that interesting anymore. And simply put, I can't handle this much retardation in one day. So, this is the end of the video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.